Tonight on Connecticut's news station, mourning Mrs. Rosalynn Carter, a former First Lady who accomplished many firsts. We'll look at her life and legacy, including her connection to Fox 61. Plus, remembering the victims of traffic crashes, advocates call for action on behalf of pedestrians and cyclists mowed down by drivers. And it was a very unfriendly Sunday at this Friendly's today when a car crashed into the restaurant, injured a worker inside, and nearly set off a gas explosion. Details ahead.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Carmen Chow. First Lady Rosalynn Carter died today peacefully, says the Carter Center, with her family by her side. She is being remembered tonight as an inspiration to the nation and the world. Rosalynn Carter was 96 and had been diagnosed with dementia. Just last week, it was announced she'd entered hospice care at home in Plains, Georgia, alongside her husband, Jimmy Carter. In a statement, the former president called his spouse of 77 years his equal partner in everything I ever accomplished. Rebecca Castor looks back at Rosalynn Carter's life and legacy.
Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter was born in the small town of Plains, Georgia in 1927, the same place as her husband, the 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter.
I'd never doubted that he could be a great president.
Carter spent her time in the White House consulting with the president on both domestic and foreign affairs. She even attended cabinet meetings, sitting in any available seat. In 1977, she visited Central and South America as the president's personal representative, holding high-level meetings with leaders on issues like human rights, beef exports, and drug trafficking. But the First Lady's lasting impact is the role she played as the honorary chair of the President's Commission on Mental Health.
That was the beginning of a lifelong crusade for me to try to help make life better for people with mental illnesses.
Mrs. Carter's work resulted in the final report recommending the implementation of the largest reform of mental health legislation in close to 3 decades. She also established a new normal for all First Ladies, a staff in office in the East Wing of the White House. After leaving Washington, she spent her time helping others, serving more than 20 years on the board of the Carter Center in Atlanta, and building houses for Habitat for Humanity with the former president, leaving a lasting legacy. She was one of several female family members of past presidents honored by then First Lady Michelle Obama at a Mother's Day event at the White House in 2010. Through it all, Rosalynn was by her husband's side during his cancer battle and recovery.
We've had an outpouring of support and prayers. In spite of all that's going on, it's been really kind of wonderful just to know that we have that kind of support.
The Carters were married for more than 75 years. They built a family with 4 children and nearly 24 grand and great-grandchildren. Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And we here have a connection to the Carters. Both Mrs. Carter and the former president were here in Hartford on September 17th, 1984 to celebrate the launch of our TV station Fox 61. The late star of Green Acres, Eddie Albert, was the MC. The Carters presented us with a plaque, which proudly still hangs in our station. Turning now to the weather watch, make sure you turn up the heat and bundle up. It's a chilly night out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Ryan Breton. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Carmen. We had a cold front come through this evening, and there have been a few snow and rain showers in other parts of New England. It's been dry here in Connecticut, but most importantly, we have colder air moving in, and that's what's going to greet us out the door tomorrow morning. You may need a couple of extra minutes to warm up the car or scrape off some ice. Inland temperatures will be dropping into the mid and upper 20s along the shoreline. We'll get right down to about 32 degrees in the morning. We have a beautiful looking day tomorrow with sunshine pretty much from start to finish, but it won't do anything for the temperatures. We'll only get up to about 41 or 42 in the Hartford area, a little bit warmer on the shoreline, a little bit chillier in the hills. And then tomorrow night will be quite cold. We'll drop into the upper teens and low 20s by Tuesday morning. Big storm taking shape over the middle of the country tonight into tomorrow, and then this really gets going on Tuesday, but it doesn't arrive here until Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Good news is this is a quick hitting storm, but it may bring a bit of a punch, especially Tuesday night into first thing Wednesday morning. Looks like we'll have precipitation moving in after the evening commute on Tuesday between about 7 and 10 p.m. And it might be just cold enough for a brief mix at the start in the hills before this turns into a windswept rain Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. We'll go through the full hour-by-hour timeline, talk about how much rain will fall and where the strongest winds will be coming up in just a little while. Carmen?
Ryan, thank you. Right now, doctors are checking out an 8-year-old boy who fell from a window on the second floor of a building in East Hartford. This happened at an apartment building at Nutmeg Lane. Thankfully, the boy survived, and the East Hartford police tell us his injuries are not life-threatening. New tonight, Connecticut and the world today marked a World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. Even if you've never heard of it, you've certainly seen crashes on the news, highways and local streets. And as Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner shows us, the victims of those crashes and their advocates are calling for action.
He's right here. He's happy that we're doing this in his name. He's happy that hopefully there'll be fewer and fewer deaths on our roads.
Here in spirit as his mom fights for a cause in his honor. Judy Proctor, who's from Fairfield, lost her son Charlie 3.5 years ago. He was riding his bike when he was killed by a car 10 minutes from his home in Massachusetts. The agony of losing her son pushed her to plan the first statewide World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims here in Connecticut.
It's powerful for us to honor those who have lost, those we've lost.
And she took solace from the outpouring of support from people who showed up to honor those who they've lost, like Denise Fernandez, who lost her future sister-in-law in a hit and run on July 4th, 2020.
A pickup truck hit her from behind. She never saw him coming.
Each flag planted in the ground represents a person who's been killed in Connecticut so far in 2023. Red ones are for those pedestrians or bicyclists who lost their lives. According to the State Department of Transportation, there have been 288 traffic deaths so far this year, 5 bicyclists, 51 pedestrians. The latest fatal hit and run just last week.
The loss of someone under those circumstances never goes away, so it allows for us to help each other.
The call to action for this day is more awareness for families and things like the Vision Zero legislation, a strategy that's been successful in Europe to eliminate all traffic fatalities and severe injuries while increasing safe, healthy, and equitable mobility for all.
And we have passed some great legislation recently, and we ask that that is implemented across all levels of government and through each town and municipality.
In Hartford, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
DeAndrea, thank you. Speaking of crashes, one of the last 10 Friendly's restaurants in Connecticut has been closed all day after a minivan smashed into the Newington location. It was almost 1 o'clock when the driver crashed into the south side of the Friendly's on the busy Berlin Turnpike. And when the minivan broke through the wall, it knocked around a frying machine, spilling oil onto an employee and also cut off an electrical line and a gas line. The restaurant was closed, so Connecticut Natural Gas could stop a leak. The employee rushed to a hospital. No one else was injured. Now to Waterbury, where an 18-year-old man is in critical condition after being shot. Police say this happened around 7:30 last night near North Main and Kingsbury Streets. The man was dropped off at St. Mary's Hospital after he was shot. Anyone with information is urged to reach out to Waterbury Police. The shooting remains under investigation. The Red Cross is helping several families after 4 fires broke out across the state on Saturday. One of those fires was on Willard Street in Hartford, forcing 6 families out into the cold. The Red Cross provided a recovery envelope containing helpful information, such as tips on cleanup, notifying contacts, dealing with damaged items, and much more. Caseworkers will work with these families in the coming days on a longer-term recovery plan.
Those who are experiencing a fire, they may run right out of their house and have little to nothing outside of the clothes on their back. That's pretty devastating. Some may not have important paperwork or access to financial means, perhaps in the coming days.
Good news tonight on Willard Street. We just learned repairs have been completed and only 5 units remain uninhabitable. Residents in the other 40 units got the all clear to return tonight. The Red Cross added it typically sees an uptick in fires during the colder months as people use more heating resources. They advise everyone to practice home fire safety. Be aware of your heating sources and your cooking. We have much